And don't forget to wear your safety gear. I don't want anybody getting all loopy. Or just go outside. If you go outside, it's breezy. Okay. Wow. Okay, so today we're going to talk about glassine and I got hair on my face. And making DIY vellum and glassine kind of type things. I was thinking about the techniques that we have been using to be able to do that, and the different issues that are involved. Like, for example, it's like the baby oil or mineral oil, whatever it is that you use to saturate your paper. It's messy. It never really dries. And then it can transfer oil to other paper or other substrates or fabrics or whatever it touches. And then there's using things like wax paper or coated deli papers, glassine, which are fine unless you want to print on them. And then, well, you can't. The ink will smudge right off, and that is because they are coated with a resist, and of course that will, wait for it, resist. So the advantages of this technique that I'm going to show you today, you can print and have an image on your glassine, vellum, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to transfer anything to anything next to it, which is great. It's very inexpensive. So for a few bucks, you can make dozens and dozens and dozens of sheets. So that was my thought process, and I was messing around with some different things that I thought might work, and I think I got it. I think you're going to like this. It may blow your mind. It may not.
How about no?
But it's very, very inexpensive. You can make 100 sheets for just a few bucks. So yeah, let's get to it. Is this killing anybody else's OCD that the square's not in the middle? Ah! All right, guys. So as I was talking about just a minute ago, we are talking about glassine, vellum, some kind of transparent paper type substance to use in books or crafting, like card making and that kind of thing. So this is a piece of actual vintage glassine, and this was a book jacket, and you can see how it is got a slick, almost shiny coating to it, and very transparent, as you can see. And you can't get the vintage kind anymore unless you buy vintage. So, and sometimes that is more difficult to come by. So I got to thinking, well, we have to be able to make some. And like I said in the intro, there are some problems to the types of techniques that are common knowledge as far as what to use. So this is what I did. I took a pad of tracing paper, and this is the Seth Cole brand. As you can see, it is regular tracing paper. So it's not coated. It is just a very, let me get one out of here so I can show you up close. Maybe I can show you up close. Okay. So it is somewhat transparent as well. I mean, definitely not like the glassine, but it is transparent. This is 25 pound. It says it is, it accepts ink and charcoal and pastels and pen and pencil. So that's what you want. You want a tracing paper that is going to accept ink. Let me show you the kind that is not quite so friendly, does not play well with others. This is a premium tracing paper that is only good for certain applications. As you can see, it is smoother, it is heavier, as in thicker. You can still see through it, of course, but it's pretty slick. So trying to print on something like this premium coated one is going to be nearly impossible. It's like trying to print on baker's parchment or wax paper. You know, it's just, the ink is going to rub off. Even toner is going to rub off. So, no bueno, right? No bueno. So don't use the coated kind. You want the cheapo. I like the 25-pound because it's still a little sturdy. But you just want the regular tracing paper that will, you know, it says it's ideal for ink, etc. I will put some links down below. So this is what happens. This is the dealio. I was working on another project, doing some patio furniture outside, and I had a can of this semi-gloss clear acrylic sealer. Basically, it's clear spray paint, right? Nothing special. I think all semi-gloss spray paint is going to be pretty similar. This just happens to be the one that I had on hand at the moment. So, you know, your mileage may vary, but this one's pretty cool. So what I did was I sprayed both sides of the paper. I sprayed one side, and then I let it dry, and then I turned it over and I sprayed the other side. And this is what resulted. So it kind of looks like wax paper, a little thicker than wax paper, but it has that slick coating. Again, here is the vintage glassine. And you can see, maybe you can see that they both have a shiny texture. You can put more spray paint on this to make it even shinier, or try gloss, you know, like a high gloss clear. Like I said, this was all I had on hand at the moment. And I actually like the sheen of the semi-gloss. I think it's plenty shiny. So then I thought, well, but can you, I want an image on this. I don't want just some plain, this is wax, I might as well use wax paper. Well, this is the lovely thing about regular tracing paper. You can print on it. Yes, indeedy you can. And so let me show you some of the things I made. And I printed on them first. So this is a little bag that I made out of the vellum, the glassine, and it was tracing paper, but I printed on it first. So I ran it through my inkjet printer. I did not do one on the laser, although since it accepts pastels and charcoals, I'm assuming it would work just fine. So I just kind of folded it over and I made a little bag, and you can totally see through it, which is lovely. It makes a nice, crisp, clear image, which is also great. This is an envelope that I made, that I cut out, and I made a little envelope. And for adhesive, I tried a couple of different things, and let me show you what the verdict was. So on this side, I used some double-sided sticky tape, which is not bad. It's not bad. But then on this side, where it pretty much goes away, you might be able to see the difference between those two. This one is a little more clear, at least it is in person. I ended up using some glossy accents, just a tiny little bit, just dab, 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 dab. And then when you put it down and smooth it, it just kind of all spreads out because this stuff is pretty thin. And so I'm thinking super glue would also be fine. Just, you know, you got to be careful of super glue. And this is like super glue. It's similar in consistency and viscosity. So, but it smooths out and it kind of disappears. And then it really does last forever. So let me show you, let me grab a piece of cardstock. So what's nice about this is not only can you print on it, but then it can be layered with other things behind it, and it is lovely and transparent. So just beautiful. Here is, like on this one, just almost crystal clear. You can just see right through it. Let me show you the difference. So as you can see, this side is much more clear. The contrast is coming through much, much better than this side. This side is more hazy, more cloudy, which is fine. It really is fine. You know, world's not gonna end, you know. But if you want a more traditional glassine vellum look, this is going to be your best bet. I just think it's great. Okay, so then I thought, Nick, I'm gonna zoom back out. Just, woo. Okay, and then I thought, okay, what else? What else can we do? Well, let me tell you, I got a pile of things. I have a pile of things. So I wanted to try all kinds of things. So, do you remember our deli papers? We got those. They are like 12 by 12. Link is on my favorites page at Amazon, which the link is down below. These are like uncoated, just unbleached deli papers for sandwiches and whatnot. You know, whatnot. And then this is how it turns out. Just glassy and glassini. It isn't quite as magnificently clear. I better keep this one out so I can show you a little easier. It's a thicker paper, maybe it's a thicker paper. But it's you know, more vintagey looking. But you can see through the clear one a lot better than you can through this one. Then I did, remember the masking paper. So the painter's masking paper that we played with last time. Link. So this painter's masking paper that you can get in a roll for like $3. And this is what it looks like. It looks almost identical to the deli paper that I just showed you, except it's a little heavier duty and it goes through your printer without help. At least it goes through my printer without help. So here is what ended up with that one. And so I did some printing on it first, and you can see it has turned quite transparent with the technique. And it's lovely, and it's lovely. And this is what it looks like before you do anything to it. I mean, you can see through it, but I mean, nothing like, you know, nothing like this baby, right? And it's got that glassine sheen. Patent pending. Okay, what about parchment paper? Okay, so this is Baker's parchment paper. It does have a silicone coating on it. So this is a sheet. This is what I use for, get that out of the way, it's messing me up here. I use these for baking. So these are a half sheet piece of parchment. It's unbleached parchment for baking. It does have a silicone kind of coating sprayed on it, so you can't print on it. However, even though it takes a little bit more doing, you can get it to accept the clear semi-gloss spray paint, and it just looks like it's not going on, but it is. So, and you have to let it dry longer, but it totally dried. There's no residue. It's not sticky or anything. And I think it did pretty fabulous. Bad thing is you cannot print on this. So if you just want some clear vellum glassine looking like stuff and you don't, you know, you're not going to be printing on it, this would be just fine. If you've got some parchment. The unbleached, again, in my favorites page, because I don't care if you're crafting or not, these things are awesome for baking, for keeping your oven clean. Like don't even get me started. So I buy like 100 sheets at a time. They're wonderful. So if you have something like this around, it will work. You just, you know, can't print on it because it'll just wipe right off. And then I found I had some book pages. So this is just real thin tissue, like almost like dictionary page. Just an old book I found on Quotes at the recycle yard that the cover was gone off of it. So I've been using the pages, and this is what it looks like when I did the technique on it. Let me see if I can get it to show up the shiny here. You see the shiny? Man, it's hard to get this one to it is shiny, believe me. Believe me when I say. And it does make it a little more transparent. This, however, would not be used for the same type of application that, you know, the tracing paper could be. But let me tell you, it kind of looks pretty stinking cool. And I could see this used as like a window in a card or an envelope or something, because it does give it a translucency, and it makes the paper, like, makes it thicker, heavier. It adds a coating onto it so it's not quite so fragile and tissue-like. So there's that. And then I thought, well, what about tissue? So I got me out some sewing paper tissue. Look how clear that is. I mean, we're talking like, you know, a window almost. So if you use the tissue, I just got a piece that actually had some patterns printed on it. But you know how when you get a pattern, there will be sometimes big sections that don't have anything. It's like extra negative space. Look how beautiful this turns out, how crystal clear. Little bit of yellow to it because that's the way the sewing pattern tissue just is. And this is a new pattern. It's not an old pattern at all. It's kind of pretty. Printing on it first is tricky, just like any other printing on tissue or thin. You've got to do the little tape trick where you tape it to a, you know, heavier piece of, you know, cardstock or something so that it will run through your printer. But also think about like gift wrap, so gift tissue. So this is a piece that has like some newspaper print on it, and it made it nice and translucent and gave it a nice sheen, and you can see through it. You could not beforehand, like shadows, but not like this. Again, it gives it a coating and makes it heavier, makes it stronger. So now I know what you're thinking, because I can hear you. You're thinking, can you emboss it? You can emboss it. So I ran this through my little, you know, embosser thingy, and I wouldn't go with as high of pressure as I did because you can see how it kind of broke some of the points Although when I put some inks on it, some distress inks, it kind of blended that away. I used this one. It's this one. It's a Sizzix, one of the Tim Holtz ones, I believe. If I don't do it backwards. It's this one with kind of like the accounting page. So, yes, indeedy, doodly, you can emboss it. Just don't be so, you know, ham-fisted like I was. What about regular paper? What about just regular copy paper? Yes, so yes, it can be done to regular copy paper. However, it is not going to be translucent like the, why do I keep hiding this from myself? It's not going to be quite as translucent because this is the tracing paper. I mean, look, it like disappears, right? But it does make a nice, excuse me, I'm hiding things from myself. I need my cardstock. It does make a nice, heavier paper to be able to make things out of. It does give it a little bit of sheen, which is just not show. Maybe showing up. And then this is what it looks like. So it does make it more transparent, I would say. And then this is kind of what it looks like. I printed some other things. And so it is kind of a neat feel. It feels vellum-y, but it's vellum-y, is that a word? Vellum-y? We'll make it a word. It feels neat. I think it could be used in all sorts of things. And then I thought, okay, we're gonna do something cool. So this is a digi kit that is coming out, and it may be out by the time I post this. I'll let you know. I'll put some scrolling font or something across the screen if it's. So this is just a vintage William Morris design that I printed on, but look how gorgeous it looks when you layer it up over just a piece of vanilla manila cardstock to make like an overlay for a greeting card. Let me see if I can get my scoreboard without hurting myself too much. I bet there's not a bone folder. No, why would there be a bone folder? Just, you know, why would I have that kind of forethought? Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little bit of a score, just real light. I can fold that in half. And then this one, I'm just going to give it a slight, she says, little crease. Not all the way, just a gentle little fold. Set this aside somehow, somewhere, some way. There we go. And then fold it down better when it's there. So I need to trim up the cardstock underneath. But look how pretty that looks layered on top of the cardstock. Isn't that beautiful? And I could see a window cut out and then some vellum, you know, as a little vellum window inside. Oh, wouldn't that be gorgeous? But I just printed this on the tracing paper before I did the technique with the spray paint, and it just picked up the colors so nicely. Again, inkjet. I put the settings on regular paper, and I didn't even do like a high printer quality. I just did standard, and because I don't think you need as much ink to go on tracing paper as you would to saturate a heavier paper. So just go with a lighter, just a standard print, and just gorgeous. Am I right? Am I right? So I'm thinking gift tissue like this would work out great. And then I had an epiphany. Butterfly wings. Dragonfly wings. So, yeah. Yep. Where's my scissors? Of course, I get the biggest scissors in the world here. Oh, you guys know how I'm bad at this. Okay.
Hold on to your butts.
Okay, so I'm not going to cut them all out. You guys would just, everybody be in a coma by the time I was finished. So look how absolutely beautiful the wings look. And all cut out and translucent and beautiful. I could see these in all kinds of stuff. Like all the things. All the things could happen. Put it on this card. You could see it on, the edge of a book page sticking out like a tab. I've done that before. I just did it, different on a different, because I didn't think of this technique yet. Boy, howdy, wish I would have. And then here's some wings, which you can absolutely layer up, and then it looks really, really cool. Just gorgeous, right? Just cool. Okay. All right. I'm out of energy now. I think I'm done. I'm starving. So I'm gonna go eat something. But I hope you guys like this new little technique. I hope it has spurned some creativity, some inspiration, some, stuff you've got in your brain that now you've got to go do it. There will be at my Etsy store a page of wings in case you need some wings. And also I'll get this listed too. So this will be in a new pack of Art Nouveau prints to use. But think of all the things you can print. Think of all the things. You can basically print anything. Anything your little heart desires. So go to town. Get some regular tracing paper. Regular. I got this at Tuesday morning, I think. They also have this at Amazon. I'll put the link on my favorites page. Also some clear semi-gloss spray paint and glossy accents. And also, what's the other one that's the multi-dimensional? Mod Podge has one, and I can't remember what it's called. I have it around here somewhere. Just don't use the coated kind, the kind that looks already like it's like vellum, because you can't print on it. It just smudges right off. This, however, works like butter. It works like butter. All right, guys, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this segment, this little new technique, and I will see you all really, really soon in the next video. I feel like Darth Vader.